These are the signs she wants to sleep with you. This kind of desire goes beyond casual attraction. It's raw, primal, and often written all over her body, even if her words don't say it. But here's the problem. These signals are subtle signs that 99% of guys completely miss. If you don't know what to watch for, the moment can slip away before you even realize it. But once you do know, it's impossible to unsee. By the end of this, you'll know exactly how to spot her intentions. Watch for signs. 4 and number 9. They're the dead giveaways. Let's get started. 1. Her eye contact is heavy and loaded with desire. You're sitting across from her during a quiet dinner with mutual friends or chatting at the end of a long meeting. Her eyes aren't just polite, they linger. There's a heat in her gaze that feels unmistakable, almost like she's daring you to look deeper. She doesn't glance around the room or check her phone instead. Her pupils are slightly dilated, and every time you look back, she's right there holding your gaze. This isn't the kind of look that says you're interesting. It's the kind that says, I'm imagining you right now, and it's not just about talking. Eye contact. Like this lights up the reward centers of the brain, stimulating dopamine and signaling arousal. If she adds a small smile or a subtle bite of her lip, it's game on too. She finds every excuse to touch you. And lingering, picture this. You're standing by her at a wine tasting event or sitting next to her at a work dinner. As the conversation flows, she leans in to make a point, her hand briefly brushing your arm. Later, she playfully swats your shoulder when you make a joke, or lets her fingers graze yours while handing you something. These touches aren't random. They're calculated tests to gauge your reaction. The key difference: when a woman just likes you, her touches might feel casual or fleeting, but when she wants you, her hand stays on your arm a second too long. Her fingers lightly trail when they don't need to, and her movements start feeling more intentional. Touch is one of the most primal human signals of desire. It bypasses words entirely. She's escalating physical contact. It's her way of closing the distance between I like you and I want to sleep with you. But if her touch isn't enough proof, watch how her posture invites you closer. 3. She tilts her head and exposes her neck. You're grabbing coffee at a cafe with her, or seated at a networking event as you talk. She tilts her head slightly, brushing her hair back and exposing her neck. This is a subtle but ancient cue. It signals vulnerability and trust. 2 key ingredients for intimacy. It's not just her head tilt, though. Watch for her lightly touching her neck or collarbone while she listens, playing with a necklace, or even running her fingers along her throat. These movements draw attention to one of the body's most sensitive areas. Psychologically, it's in an unconscious way of saying, I'm opening up to you. Combine that with a lean-in during the conversation, and she's practically inviting you to notice her body language. Still doubting her lips might just give her away. Next, 4, her lips become the star of the show. You're seated across from her at a casual lunch or walking side by side after a group event. As you talk, she starts biting or licking her lips, soft, slow, and deliberate, or she gently presses her lips together as if emphasizing them for your eyes. Eyes. This isn't an accident. Lips are one of the most sensual parts of the body, and drawing attention to them is her way of signaling that she's imagining using them on you. If she pairs this with a soft smile or quick glances at your mouth, you've crossed the line from friendly into overtly sexual territory. Its primal blood flow increases to the lips during arousal, making them fuller and more noticeable. So when she's emphasizing them, whether with the bite lick or playful pout, her body is giving away what her words might not. And when her whole body starts aligning with yours, that's when you know it's more than attraction. 5. Her body points to you always. You're sitting with her in a group setting, at a casual dinner, during a seminar, or even at a kid's soccer game. Her body is angled toward you, and her legs or feet are aligned with yours. No matter where the conversation flows, even when someone else is speaking, Her torso stays oriented toward you, like you're the center of her attention. Body language experts know this as physical alignment, a subconscious way of expressing focus and attraction. But when she wants you, this goes a step further. Her posture becomes more inviting. She leans in slightly, crosses her legs with deliberate slowness, or even adjusts her position to close the distance. If you notice this, paired with frequent fleeting touches or the occasional brush of her knee against yours, her intentions are no longer subtle. She's signaling, "I want you closer." If her lips are giving you all the signals, it's time to pay attention to what the rest of her body is doing, because her next move might just seal the deal. 6. She mirrors your movements without thinking you're sitting across from her at a quiet bistro or standing near her at a gallery event, and you notice something curious. When you lean back, she leans back. If you pick up your glass, she picks up hers. This isn't mimicry to mock you. It's an unconscious display of synchronicity. Mirroring happens when someone feels deeply connected to another person, but here's the twist: when she mirrors your movements in a way that feels seamless and almost natural, it's often because she wants more than just conversation. Studies show that mirroring is linked to rapport and attraction, and when combined with other signals, it's a strong clue she's visualizing the two of you aligning on a much deeper level. But if her movements sync with yours, wait until you see what she does with her voice. 7. Her voice drops, and her words slow down. You're sitting side by side, and suddenly you notice her tone is different. Her voice gets softer, huskier, and more deliberate. It's not your imagination. She's instinctively altering her tone to draw you in. Here's why a lower, slower voice signals intimacy and seduction, and it's deeply rooted in human psychology. Women instinctively drop their pitch when they are attracted to someone, as it mimics the soft and biting tones of close personal communication. If her sentences start to trail off, like she's inviting you to fill in the blanks, it's another layer of intimacy. Pay attention to this during quieter moments, like when she leans in during a break at a professional workshop, or while walking next to you on a city street. If her words feel heavier than the context, it's because she's laying the groundwork for something more, and if her voice changes, her physical closeness might just seal the deal. 8. She finds excuses to get closer, much closer. You're at a wine tasting, and every time you glance over, she's managed to inch just a little closer. Or maybe you're waiting for a cab together after an event, and she stands so close, her shoulder is brushing yours, if there's space in the room, yet she's right there practically in your personal bubble. It's intentional. Proximity is one of the clearest indicators of primal attraction. When a woman is attracted on a physical level, she'll unconsciously gravitate toward you, closing the space between your bodies as much as possible. If she leans in when she talks, letting her knee bump yours under the table, or stays close enough for you to feel her presence, she's making her desires known. This isn't casual. It's her body saying, "I want to be near you and I don't want to leave." And as the distance closes, her focus sharpens on one thing, you nine. She fixates on your lips, your mid-sea conversation, and you catch her glancing at your lips, not once but several times. She's not doing it for fun. She's imagining how it would feel to close the distance. This is a primal, hardwired reaction. Research shows that during moments of attraction, people's eyes instinctively flicker between the eyes and the lips of the person they're drawn to. If her gaze drops to your mouth when you speak, or worse, when you pause, she's thinking about what might happen if you kissed her. Throw in her biting or licking her own lips, as if to draw your attention, and you're in unmistakable territory. Her mind has already crossed into what if, and she's waiting to see if yours will too, but don't stop there. The next sign is a fire giveaway, way 10. She mentions being alone or free. You're sharing a drink at a quiet bar or catching up in the parking lot after an event, and out of nowhere she drops a comment about her weekend plans or lack of them. Maybe she says, "I've got the whole night to myself," or casually mentions that she's staying alone in town for a few days. This isn't small talk, it's a deliberate breadcrumb. Women rarely mention their availability without reason, especially in one-on-one settings. If she's signaling her free time or subtly referencing being alone, it's her way of planting the idea that she's open to something spontaneous. This isn't her trying to see if you're free to help her move furniture. It's her creating an opportunity for you to escalate things. So pay close attention to how she frames it. If there's an inviting tone or a playful smirk, she's leaving you a clear opening now. It's your turn. Have you noticed these signs before, but didn't act on them? Or worse, missed them completely? Because here's the real question. When she's practically showing you she wants to sleep with you, what's stopping you from making the next move?